diving deep into the world of architectural design firms.
Oh, cool.
But we're not talking about like the pretty buildings or, the fancy designs. Not right away, at least.
Right.
We're going even deeper.
Deeper.
We're going to explore the business side of things.
Yep.
The WHY behind a successful design firm. You know what I mean?
I think so, yeah. Like, what makes these firms tick beyond just the creative stuff?
Exactly. And to help us unpack all of this, we're going to be looking at the BHY solutions from Dr. Bahram Yousefi.
Okay, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's like this total expert in design, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And he's got this awesome article on Medium where he breaks down what it takes to build a thriving architecture firm.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be using that article as a springboard for our conversation today.
Sounds fascinating.
So let's dive in. One of the first things that really jumped out at me in the article was this idea of the why behind the design.
The why.
Yeah, not just like, does it look good, but what's the deeper purpose,
Oh, I see. Like, what problem is this building solving, or what need is it fulfilling?
Yes. And Dr. Yousefi takes it even further. He's saying you need a why for your entire firm, not just for the individual buildings you design.
So it's like a mission statement for the business itself.
Totally. It's about understanding your core values and your vision for the firm. What are you trying to achieve in the world beyond just, designing cool buildings?
I can see how that would be important for attracting the right clients and employees even.
For sure. Because if you're clear about your why, it's going to inform every decision you make, from the types of projects you take on to the materials you use to how you market your services.
And it makes your whole operation more authentic, I bet.
Exactly. It's not just lip service.
Right.
It's about walking the walk and building a business that truly reflects your values.
So if a firm was really passionate about sustainability, for example,
Yeah.
their why might be all about creating environmentally responsible buildings. That would then impact everything they do.
Oh, absolutely. Like choosing sustainable materials, incorporating energy-efficient design principles, maybe even partnering with clients who share those values.
It becomes this whole ecosystem built around that core why.
I love that. So you've got your big why figured out, but then Dr. Yousefi goes on to talk about defining your target audience. Who are you actually building for?
Right, because you can't be everything to everyone.
Exactly. He uses this great analogy in the article. He says, you wouldn't market a luxury car the same way you'd market a minivan.
Makes sense.
Different audiences, different needs.
So it's about finding your niche, that sweet spot where your expertise meets the needs of a specific type of client.
Exactly. Instead of trying to design everything under the sun, maybe you become the go-to firm for high-tech startups.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, all your marketing, your processes, even your design aesthetic is honed in on that particular niche.
You're speaking their language, basically.
Right. And by focusing your energy on a specific audience, you can really build a brand that resonates deeply with them.
So you become the obvious choice for that type of client.
Exactly. Now, Dr. Yousefi also dives into this idea of strategic differentiation, which I think is so key in such a competitive field.
Strategic differentiation.
Yeah. It's like, okay, there are tons of architecture firms out there. What makes you stand out? What's your unique selling proposition?
It's about finding that special something that makes you irresistible to the right clients.
Right. Maybe it's a unique design philosophy, a specialized service you offer, or even just a different way of approaching the client relationship.
It could be anything that sets you apart from the competition.
Exactly. Dr. Yousefi actually gives this cool example. He talks about a firm that uses VR walkthroughs during the design phase.
Oh, wow.
So instead of just looking at blueprints, clients can actually experience this space virtually before it's even built.
That's amazing. Talk about a wow factor.
Right. It's about offering something that your competitors don't, something that adds real value for your clients.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The why, the niche, the differentiation. It's all about building a strong foundation for a successful firm.
And speaking of foundations, Dr. Yousefi also talks about something that I think a lot of creative folks might struggle with, operational efficiency.
That sounds a bit less glamorous than VR walkthroughs.
Maybe, but it's super important. He's making the point that your business model isn't just about big picture ideas. It should guide your day-to-day decisions too.
Oh, I see. So it's about having a system in place that helps you run your business smoothly.
Right. Should you take on this project? Do you need to hire more people? Invest in new software? Your business model helps you answer those questions strategically, always keeping your long-term goals in mind.
That takes the guesswork out of a lot of decisions.
For sure. And it helps you stay focused on your why and who you're serving. So you're not just chasing every opportunity that comes your way, you're being intentional about your growth.
Makes sense.
Dr. Yousefi gives this great example of a boutique firm that's known for doing high-quality, small-scale projects. Imagine they get this huge offer from a big corporation to design a massive complex.
Oh, that's tempting.
Right, but their business model might say, hold on,
Well, I want
yeah, does this align with our core expertise, our values, our vision for the firm?
So even though it's a huge opportunity,
It might not be the right fit.
because it could pull them away from what they do best.
Exactly. And that's the power of having a strong business model. It helps you make smart decisions that are in line with your overall goals, even when there are tempting distractions along the way.
I'm really digging this BHY solutions stuff. It's making me think about my own work in a whole new light.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving us this roadmap for building a business that's not only successful, but also meaningful and sustainable.
And we're just getting started. I can't wait to see what other insights Dr. Yousefi has in store for us.
Me neither. We'll definitely be diving deeper into all of this in the next part of this series.
Sounds good. I'm ready when you are. It's about knowing your limits, I guess,
Oh,
and not letting those shiny opportunities derail you from your bigger vision.
right. It's like having that discipline to say no, even when it's hard.
Exactly. So we've talked about purpose, niche, differentiation. What else is in Dr. Yousefi's toolbox of wisdom?
Well, he dives into something that I think a lot of creatives kind of struggle with, financial sustainability.
Ooh, yeah, that could be a tough one.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the design process,
Yeah.
but you got to make sure the numbers work too.
It's that classic art versus business dilemma.
Totally. But Dr. Yousefi makes this great point. He says that your business model should actually address those financial details.
Like what specifically?
Things like pricing, managing cash flow, making sure you can keep the lights on, even when things are slow.
So it's not just about creating beautiful buildings, it's about creating a business that can support that creativity.
Exactly. He gives this example. Imagine you're working on this big, complex project. It's going to take months, maybe even years to complete.
Right. I can see how that would tie up a lot of resources.
Exactly. So to balance that out, you might take on some smaller, quicker projects along the way.
To keep the cash flow steady.
Yeah. So you're strategically mixing things up to make sure you can cover your expenses while still having the freedom to tackle those more ambitious projects.
That's smart. It's like having a safety net for your creativity.
I like that.
Yeah.
And it's all about being proactive and planning ahead, which is something that Dr. Yousefi really emphasizes in his BHY solutions.
It's giving me a lot to think about.
Me too. And you know what else he talks about? The importance of client relationships.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial in any business, really.
Especially in architecture, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're literally building something for someone else.
Hmm.
It's such a collaborative process.
So how does the business model play into that?
Well, Dr. Yousefi says that your business model is kind of like a promise to your clients.
A promise.
Yeah, it sets clear expectations about how you work, what they can expect from you, how you'll handle things like communication and feedback.
So it's about being transparent and building trust right from the start.
Exactly. And that's so important when you're dealing with something as big and complex as a building project.
Makes sense.
He gives this really interesting example. Imagine a firm that specializes in government contracts.
Yeah.
Those projects are notorious for having tons of regulations and very specific requirements.
Right. It's not like designing a dream home for your friend. There's a lot more at stake.
Exactly. So their business model would probably emphasize things like meticulous project management, detailed communication, a really strong focus on building those long-term relationships.
Because in that situation, reliability is everything.
Totally. And by having that system in place, they're showing their clients that they understand the complexities and they're prepared to handle them professionally.
It's about building that confidence.
Right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about purpose, niche differentiation, financial sustainability, client relationships. It's like Dr. Yousefi is giving us this blueprint for building a firm that not only survives but thrives.
It's impressive how he ties all these pieces together.
And you know what else he talks about? Scalability.
Scalability.
Yeah. So you've got your awesome firm. Things are going well, but how do you grow without losing what makes you special?
That's a good question. Because it's easy to get caught up in that excitement of growth and take on too much too quickly.
Exactly. And Dr. Yousefi cautions against that. He calls it chaotic expansion.
Chaotic expansion. I like that.
He's basically saying that your business model should outline a clear path for how you scale, always keeping your core values and capabilities in mind.
So it's like controlled growth, making sure you're not stretching yourself too thin.
Right. It's about making sure the foundation is strong enough to support that growth.
So you don't topple over.
Exactly. He gives this example. Let's say you're a mid-sized firm known for your amazing design work, but you want to start offering a wider range of services.
Okay, like what kind of services?
Maybe things like landscape design or even incorporating some engineering aspects into your projects.
So you're becoming more of a one-stop shop.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But instead of trying to build those capabilities in-house, which can be really expensive and time-consuming, you might strategically partner with other specialists.
Oh, that's a smart move.
Yeah.
You're basically creating this network of experts who can help you deliver a more comprehensive service to your clients.
And it allows you to expand your offerings without straying too far from your core expertise.
I'm really digging this collaborative approach.
You too. And it all goes back to that idea of having a strong business model in place. It helps you make those strategic decisions about how to grow in a way that's sustainable and aligned with your vision.
It's like Dr. Yousefi is giving us permission to dream big.
But also to dream smart.
I like that. Dream smart.
Wow. So much to think about, right?
I know, right? It's like my brain is buzzing with all these new ideas.
Mine too.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much ground we've covered just in this first part of the BHY Solutions series.
Seriously, it's more than just like tips and tricks. It's like a whole philosophy of building a successful design firm.
Absolutely. And it all starts with that why.
The why.
Yeah, remembering why you're doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
What's that spark that drives your work?
It's so easy to get lost in the day-to-day stuff and forget about the bigger picture.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Yousefi brings us back to that core purpose. And then he gives us all these tools to actually build something around it.
Yeah, he doesn't just leave us hanging with this vague idea of finding your why. He actually gives us a roadmap for making it happen.
Exactly. And I think whether you're an architect, a designer, or even just someone with a dream, there's so much to learn from his approach.
Definitely. We've talked about defining your niche, finding that thing that makes you stand out from the crowd, building a solid financial foundation.
And of course, nurturing those all-important client relationships.
It's like he's giving us this blueprint for building a business that's not just successful, but also meaningful and fulfilling.
And sustainable, which is something that's really important to me personally.
Me too. It's not just about making a quick buck. It's about creating something that can last and have a positive impact on the world.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this first deep dive into Dr. Yousefi's BHY Solutions.
But don't worry, folks. This conversation isn't over yet.
Oh, no. We're just getting started.
Exactly. Next time, we're going to be diving into the business blueprint.
Ooh, the blueprint for the blueprint.
I know, right? It's where those big ideas meet the concrete steps needed to make them a reality.
I can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty of execution.
Me neither. But for now, we want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Yes. A little something to chew on until next time.
So think about your own work, your own aspirations. What unique value do you bring to the table? What's your why?
And how can you build a business model that supports that vision?
Those are the questions we want you to wrestle with.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of architectural design and business. We'll see you next time for part 2 of the BHY Solutions series.
Until then, keep dreaming big and dream smart.
See ya!